Hey, everybody. Good morning. You're live with Bubba Da Vinci back from Hawaii, Honolulu. Was a great time. Feels kind of odd to be back in my seat and in the office. Um, Odd thing about this is that I'm only here for another, I don't know, 4 hours at the most. Um, the goal here today is to just do a brief touch base catch up on what's going on, how the event was, how things went with the diet. I got to get everybody back. I was actually doing pretty well there for a while, doing the live streams because when we left the office, we went to Florida and I was doing live every morning at 7 a.m. Hey, buddy. Glad you popped on. Missed you in Hawaii. Yeah, we were kind of hoping we'd see a little more of our Australian friends. I mean, Cricket was there, and obviously Zoe was there. But looking for more of the regular hang around players as opposed to the content creators that Niantic always invites. But good to see you. So I'm actually got back yesterday and have to turn around today in a couple of hours and jump on a plane back to Florida to pick up the Jeep. And then I actually arrive at 9 or 10 p.m. and then have to do a 10 or 12 hour drive to Tennessee to start our next event, which begins setup is tomorrow. So literally I'll drive the Jeep directly into the event, park it, get it set up, and then 4 days at that event. And then I believe I'm going to drive the Jeep all the way back to Iowa, I think is what my game plan is right now. Because Billy and I do need to shoot a bunch more content. We need to take it down to Arizona and Colorado and New Mexico and and do a bunch of shooting. Billy is leaving Hawaii today. He stayed an extra 2 days to recuperate and is flying directly into Colorado for an event that we're doing there. So that's crazy town. But it's all good. So kind of let's jump into, I think, the event first. First, I'm going to pour a Rise coffee because it's actually a matcha tea. I think I told everybody we were doing great with the powder all the way through Florida, and then my bag blew up. The one of the Rise coffee, it's popped open and ended up all over the inside of my bag, and so I didn't have Rise for the rest of that week, which was 5 days. So this is my first day back to it, and I'm traveling again. I have a second bag. I'm going to put a bag within a bag this time, a Ziploc baggie, so I don't have the same issue. But yeah, overall it was pretty good. So let me get that poured. Now, I did get a new coffee cup. I got it from the Worlds, the Honolulu 2024 official coffee cup. It was one of the few things I got for myself. Obviously, you see me wearing my bucket hat. Now, the reason I'm wearing the bucket hat is an homage to the lady and her son who gave it to me. It was super sweet. The fact that I've been saying the one thing I didn't get, I got the skateboard, I got everything that I wanted from that event, including we got a ton of giveaways that will be taken care of starting next week. And the only thing I wasn't able to get was the bucket hat. It sold out in the first 2 days. And we had an appointment on the first day that we couldn't make, and I gave it away to a young man who flew in from one of the other islands. Yeah, it has changed a ton. And we are going to get more into that. It's one of the things I'm going to cover here in a few minutes. But so anyway, I wasn't able to get the bucket hat. I decided, even though they say they were non-transferable, there was a little boy and his mother who had flown in from the main island to Honolulu, and just to go to the store because they couldn't get tickets to the event. And they thought you could just go to the store and you had to have a reservation. And Billy and I were not going to be able to make that reservation because the reservation just told you what time your queue went inside. Sometimes you waited in line anywhere from 45 minutes to 2 hours because the group ahead of you had to completely be out before they'd let the next group in. And so if people were milling around in there, they'd try to push them out. But, the queue kept getting further behind. So we had a 6 o'clock appointment on the first day. We arrived, we went over there. We had a 7 o'clock appointment with Niantic at a meet and greet. And we thought we were going to be able to get in there, had to get our appointment done and zip out. And there was just no, it was going to happen. So that was it. We were done. We did find out that there was a day that the content creators and media, which is what we were able to go in the morning and get stuff. So we were happy to do that. So I went ahead and asked for the ladies' email, and I emailed them our meeting time, and they were able to go in and get all the stuff they wanted, thus making somebody very happy. And then the last day before I flew out, they contacted me back and said they had a gift for me. And the little boy and the mom had made me a lei, which I'll be hanging up on the wall here probably when I get back from this trip. And they gave me the bucket hat, which he had bought for himself, but he knew that I wanted it. And so he gave me his bucket hat. So I was able to get 100% of the stuff I wanted, hence wearing the bucket hat today. It's actually going on the Pokemon wall after I wear it today. So that was a cool story. Just wanted to tell it. So super exciting. Again, we got everything we wanted. We were able to get the skateboards signed by Bear Walker, which is going to go on my wall. We got about $2,000 worth of product that will be given away. $2,000 at their retail. One of the things I'm going to do on one of these streams this week is I'm going to do like a little cameo of here's the product that we bought and here's what it's going for on eBay and here's what the street value is outside the event. So like the skateboard we bought at $350, it was going for $800 to $1,000 on the street right outside the store, and I saw them on eBay for as much as $1,500. So you can see how the market trend went with some of this stuff. And all the exclusive Pikachu, exclusive, we estimate they made about $10 million at that event. It was, eBay scalpers were all over it, but actually what these scalpers apparently travel to all these events. I mean, the street was filled. They got great video. They were in Yokohama. I mean, you could see things for like 4 or 5 years back, and these prices were outrageous. And they realize how ravenous these collectors are. Yeah, everybody collects something different. So you've got the pins, you have the lanyards, you have the hats, you have the t-shirts, you have the mats. And what we saw a lot of, which I got on camera, but I don't know if I'll show it because of embarrassment factor. A lot of the players, they all get players mats. And then there's ranking mats. So like top 8, things like that. As soon as the scalpers were waiting outside the door when these players got knocked out, and they were buying, they get a backpack, they get a mat, they get a token, they get a lanyard, and these guys were buying the player stuff right off their backs and then turning around and selling it for a significant multiplier. So at first, all you had was the regular backpacks out there and some player backpacks from Yokohama in previous years. But like by the last day, there was like every person on that floor had anywhere from 3 to 10 player backpacks or player it was nuts. And they were buying them for like $100 to $150 from the players and then turning around selling them for $5 bills. And And apparently this stuff is even bigger in Japan. So a lot of the people that I was amazed at how many people would pay $300 or $400 for a backpack. And I finally went up and asked one. I said, so is that worth it to you? Is that for your collection? They said, no, I'll double my money in Japan. So it's like, holy cow. It's like, really, is it that big? And they were saying, the one that said top 16 was worth more money, and the top 8 was worth, even more money. Well, I wouldn't think so too. I mean, I wouldn't want to sell the stuff that I just earned, but apparently I had one player that I filmed, and then he came up to me and said, why did you film me? I don't want you to show that. And I said, well, why would you sell the stuff? If you made top 32, why would you sell your stuff, coming here and everything else? And he said, this is how I fund my next trip. He goes, I'll keep a couple of the things, but I've got multiple mats from multiple events, and this basically funds the next trip. And I was like, okay. And he goes, and I'm not all that sentimental. If he goes, I'd probably keep it if I made top 4, but top 32, he goes, I'd rather just sell it and make the money. And I'm like, okay. So I guess, the memories for some of these kids is more the playing and the things they do there. And, this kid in particular showed that he brings his own mat that goes out there, and he has all his competitors that he plays against signed his mat. And so he's got a mat that he feels he had better memories than the actual Worlds 2024 mat that go out there. So anyway, since I've already dove into this, let's talk about the show in general. Not to disparage Niantic or Nintendo or Pokemon International, but for such a big deal, this is the, every Niantic event. Let me take a big step back. So I think most of you know I'm the CEO for a video game company and a social media company, and I also am the owner of one of the oldest esports leagues in the world. It's called the CPL. CPL was the original. Most people know the people that used to work for us, and DreamHack and things like that. So all those came from us. We were the first ones. We started back 26 years ago now. We wrote the code for Counter-Strike, all the maps, Dust, and everything else that people continue to play to this day. Our league is still going in all of Asia. We moved our company to Southeast Asia, and we've continued to do tournaments. My esports division probably does about 300 tournaments a year. That's how we got into the business. Then we bought a video game company. Then we bought a social media company. So that's what I do for a living. And that's why I travel so much, and how I got involved with Billy and things like that. So we also own a couple other things. Like you were always talking about the Jeep stuff we do. We own a company that does self-reliance stuff. So we have a lot of things under our umbrella, but it's all event-based. And so I tend to judge events that I go to, specifically the Pokemon events, which, while the coding and the events is all virtual, which should make it relatively easy, from an operational standpoint, they're always, excuse my language, a clusterfuck. I'm not sure how a multi-billion-dollar company, my budgets are not nearly that high. I mean, a good event for us has probably a $2 to $3 million budget, and I'm talking like we've done things like the League of Legends Worlds and things like that in China. When they go over there, some of my team members also do DreamHack in multiple countries. And so we have some pretty decent budgets that we work with for these events. But I've never seen a company that has such big dollars coming in budgets that really don't care about operations. So here we are in Hawaii. You had delays on equipment. I mean, if you guys watch the opening ceremonies, they had to restart it 5 times. At this point in the game, I don't know how anybody has to restart anything 5 times. They don't communicate well with the people, like the creators and the people they invite. So people don't show up, or they show up late. They don't have enough handlers. Now, I'm also getting this from staff. 3 or 4 times we kind of rescued staff, where we were there to record interviews, which was our job. And then something big was happening, like a Nintendo exec, like a famous Nintendo exec, walked over to Bear Walker's booth, and he was they were co-signing their stuff, and this was in a private session, and nobody showed up from their team to take photos or take video. So we jumped in and we did that for them. And now we're going to be sending them the video so they have it. But that's a historic event. Bear Walker's got all these limited edition boards, all these different things coming on here. Here's this very famous original Pokemon exec coming over there, and he's getting his personal board given to him, and they're going to sign, and then he's signing Bear Walker's personal board. And this is something that should be documented, and there's no one there to do it. And you're kind of, and the person, the handler from the company, is like looking around, making phone calls, and nothing's going to freeze in time. And then, setbacks and all these different things. Now, things happen at an event, but you have redundancy previously planned for those things, and staff that can, move on a whim. You plan with what you always say is, you plan for the worst and you hope for the best. So when we plan an event, we plan for blackouts, for someone to DDoS us, and so the internet goes down. So you have a backup internet line that you can jump onto, so they can still DDoS your main system, but you have a backup server system, and you just flip over to that. You have backup cameras. You have guests lined up. So if one guest doesn't show up or is running late, you continue with the show and you just change up the order. I mean, all that stuff should be pre-planned in. And constantly we were getting phone calls and text messages that something was getting changed up, and it was just hectic. And this is, in the grand scheme of things, this is a relatively small event. It's tens of thousands, not hundreds of thousands. So, that we found that kind of crazy, or I found that. I'm not going to speak for Billy, but but Billy and I were constantly going, just what the F? It's like, really? Is that what they planned, or don't they think about this stuff, or, what's going on here? The store, they sold out. They had appointments. They said that you could get one thing of each item each day. But if you had an appointment after 2:00, you weren't getting anything. Plus, most of these scalpers had 6 or 7 appointments, 2 appointments a day for 3 or 4 of the days. And you see the same people walking in getting the same things. It was kind of like, okay, there's got to be a better control for this. At the end of the day, it's kind of like Niantic, which is, if they screw up, and they don't do anything about it, or they throw you, here's a free raid pass, or here's whatever we're going to give you. People bitch about it, but no one ever doesn't come back, right? And it's the same thing with these collectors. Everybody out there was just pissed that they were having to pay 4 times the cost to get this stuff, because the scalpers got all the early appointments, and then everybody after that was just scraping by and getting whatever. And when we talk to an employee from the company, they're just like, it is what it is. And I was just like, that's crazy. You can identify these people and, just don't let them in again. Let more people get the thing. Now, there's no way you can anticipate how much you're going to sell. And I do think that scalpers, collectors, whatever you want to call these guys, play an important role. If everybody who bought a ticket and had a pass were able to go get one of everything, and that was basically what was out there, then there's really never going to be much in the market, because the people who are diehard fans that go in there and want to buy this stuff, they're going to keep it for their own collections, thus not creating a really substantial market, trading market, selling market, and everything out there. But there's got to be a balance, right? It can't be 85% is going to the stores and the scalpers, and very little is going to the other people. Except for, I guess, in this case, because nobody seemed to have any problem going out there and spending $100 for a shirt that cost you 25 or 35 inside, which again, crazy to me. So I estimate that by scalper prices, which we'll go over and we'll talk about, over the next couple of days as we put things up, we probably walked away with about $5,000 to $7,000 worth of loot. Because we got some of the most highly and wanted items out there. The backpacks, we got the ice chests, which were very limited. We got, what else did we get? We got the characters. We got the mats. So we got a bunch of the stuff that was really, really, really wanted. And if we go by eBay prices, that's pretty cool. So now, again, goal here is to give all this stuff away. We're going to do a full inventory. We're going to talk about how we do it over a period of time. Now, why are we not giving away anything now? Because the value, as far as we're concerned, on Mindshare is down right now at its lowest. The event's over. People have stuff, and everybody came back with something. If I was on X or Twitter and Instagram the other day, right after the event, everybody's getting on a plane and everybody's like, "Oh, I have a plushie, and like and follow, and tickle my anus," or whatever thing that they wanted, and everybody was giving away something. So my thought was, when I talked to Billy about this, is let's wait a week or two, let everybody give away their stuff, and then we'll start giving our stuff away. It's only going to increase in value as all the things are out there and gone. And that's what we want. We want people that are following Billy and the few people that are following me to actually get something and enjoy it and everything else, and not be part of there's also gives you guys opportunity to see what else is out there and participate in those competitions as well, and see if you guys can get something other than that. But everything in the 2 suitcases, I actually had to go to a Target on Waikiki and buy another 36-inch expandable bag just to bring everything back. One bag was 100% full of nothing but giveaways, and the second one was 80% full of giveaways, and I still had to carry stuff in my backpack. I checked 2 bags coming in and 4 bags went out, is what the final number count was. And so pretty crazy. It was good, but overall it was a good time. I'm going to segue this into eating. Billy and I did find 2 organic restaurants on the island, one that did breakfast and lunch, and one that was primarily dinner. And so we actually were able to eat very well while we were over there. Billy's going to have on his channel, his food channel, reviews on what we were able to get there and things like that. Crazy thing was, we had very little time. We never left the Hilton Village. So Hilton Hotel, which is where the convention center is and everything else, has an entire village around it with shopping centers and a bunch of hotels and everything else. It's all part of the Hilton Village property. That's who Niantic and Poke Center and Nintendo had done their deal with. And so you really didn't leave that area. If you actually left that area, it was like being anywhere else in the world. So your spins and your loot and everything else went down to what everybody else was getting. If you stayed in that village, everything was multiplied. All the rates were increased. Every spinner was the gifts. And so there was no way we were leaving that area. But it was a ton of walking to get around. It's kind of like a Go Fest. You have to keep moving around to get things done. We had to go back to the convention center to watch what was going on, then get back out and run over to do an interview or do whatever we were doing, trying to play in between. But yeah, I think we've eventually ended up seeing the ocean because we walked a path outside the outer part of the hotel to get to a meeting, and there was a beach. And then the ocean was right there. Our hotel view had a nice view of the ocean. Outside of that, we never got anywhere near that. It was basically hotel, convention center, campus. Hotel, convention center, campus. and then flying out. So super intense for my first time in Hawaii. And when I say that, I have gone through Hawaii before in the military and on a couple of vacation trips where that was a stopover before heading to either Guam or Maldives or wherever I was headed, but never stayed in Hawaii. So I was kind of disappointed. I think that was Billy made a good decision to stay the extra 2 days. He was going to go do some waterfalls and go do things like that. Unfortunately, me being the CEO of the company, I had meetings the second I got off the plane. And then, like I said, I'm flying back out. So yeah, that was kind of it. So from an executive standpoint, rating of 1 through 10 from an operational business standpoint, I give it a solid 7 as far as the event's concerned. From a player standpoint, I'd give it probably a 9. Nothing ever went down as far as the game was concerned. No major glitches. We were able to play the entire time. So that was good. I will say, and Billy encouraged me to do this, I have to say, I think I'm starting to appreciate the amount of effort that has to go into casting. Me getting up at 7 o'clock in the morning, doing this, for 3 to 8 people until, if this takes off, it's a lot of work to put into getting this stuff done. And I'm still learning and everything else. But what I am finding is the creators are starting to get jaded. Now, when we go to these events, you guys know more about me than these creators do. I like going with Billy. He's a partner in our company. And sorry, my phone's dinging because I have meetings that are going to be popping up. And yep, that was telling me I got a meeting pretty soon. I don't usually tell a lot of people other than business people what I do for a living and everything else. Yeah, I kind of like to hang in the background. Billy and I go to an event or, we go to a meet and greet or things like that. And I talk to Fleece King or, Zoe, Two Dots or Cricket or things like that. And I kind of want them to judge me just for me. And I'm always shocked at how many times you can get blown off. I met Poke Legends, and you meet these different people, and different people react differently to different people. Some people can sense if you're business minded or you got something going on. Some people don't. I mean, we met Cole Anthony from the Orlando Magic, and he hung out with us for a little while. Met his mom and his little brother, and Cole was a very interesting guy. First, he's super pumped up, super friendly, and everything else, and very quickly, by the watch you're wearing and things like that, he spots business people. And he was a very friendly guy before, but then all of a sudden he's like, oh, you guys do this. I'd love to start doing this, blah, blah, blah. And he starts talking business and his mom's engaged. And you go, okay, that's good. Creators can't spot a business opportunity or realize that the person you're talking to could be the CEO of a company who could help you out. We've hired multiple creators as part of our business. Billy, we've got several people that we're working with, and we're getting ready to launch a whole new division. And the reason I'm going out to these events is to meet potential creators who we may want to bring on into our demos. And most of these people, I'm like, I wouldn't hire this person to save my life. And I have a feeling that, because it's happened to me, the same thing on the video game side with tournaments is I'll go to these things and meet the players and I'll dress down like this. I won't be in my suit or I won't be anything like that. And the players will treat you like crap. And then all of a sudden they walk into a meeting and they see you behind the desk and all of a sudden like, oh, I was having a bad day. I was doing this. And I'm like, no, you're a dick. And that's your personality. And we don't hire dicks. We want people, because we deal with corporations and we're trying to tie these people with corporations. And if their personality is not naturally such that they are enthusiastic, want to be in the business and everything else, if they have to turn a switch on and be fake for the camera, and then off camera, they're a completely different person and bitching about companies and things. And I love just listening to these people. I'm like, wow, if half these companies knew what you were saying about them, they wouldn't hire you. It doesn't matter what you say on air. It's equally as important what they say off air. So I told Billy, I jokingly said with Billy, I would love to go through. I think I met 38 creators. I have my list. I met 38 creators of different caliber, and I said, I would love to go on air and each day show a photo and then kind of give my analysis of each one of the creators, my true analysis as a business person, whether this would be someone I would ever do business with, or I think is a viable potential, um, you know, I call them talent, because in my business, that's all they are, is talent. But if X creator has 100,000 followers and they got those followers because they did something spectacular or they had some sort of gimmick at the beginning, when Pokemon Go or Pokemon Unite or whatever they're doing is gone, the game has died off or whatever, will they be able to recreate that magic? And I would say most of them, I don't want to say most, I would say 50% of those people will go back into working at a fast food restaurant or wherever they were doing before and will have zero following because they got lucky. They built momentum in something they enjoy or did enjoy, and it was able to grow from there, or they did something that was so spectacular everybody started following them. But if they had to redo it again, then I don't think it would happen again. And first Billy was like, yeah, you should do that. He encouraged me. And that soon after that, it was like, yeah, maybe not, because you'll burn a lot of bridges. And I may do some sort of segment about that. And this is all, first thing I would say if I did do that show is it's opinion based. Specifically, over the past 25 years, I have hired thousands of content creators, streamers. Back in the day, we didn't call them either one of those things. We called them shoutcasters, but tons of them also for our video game company. So we hire, people to promote the games, do things like that, fly them all over the world, and then players. And, and I'm talking about some of the best players in the world. And if I started showing you the names and the photos, you'd know all of them. That's kind of the business. And a lot of them I wouldn't, other than they just won, I wouldn't give some of them the time of day because they're not media ready. They don't appreciate the company. Like Intel gives you $1 million check and you smile and you hold the check, and then you walk right out the door and saying, I prefer AMD. Right? It's like, wow, okay, not media trained, wrong way to do it. That's horrible. And that happened a lot. And we had to start setting up rules that said, if you're in this tournament and after you're doing this, you cannot disparage for 12 months. You cannot disparage the company that's giving you the money. And so that became, why is everybody hitting me up today? That was a check into my flight. On top of that, we met a lot of people. If you looked at my thumbnail, we met people like in the car. We're starting to get over to the TCG side of things. And we got lucky and met some awesome TCG people like Pokey Rich and Dom. If you have a chance to see them, they're the ones that are in the thumbnail. These are people that travel all over the world and do these card shows. Super genuine people. I mean, I'm super pumped to meet them because on air, off air, they were the same high energy. They still love what they're doing. The moving, the shaking, all that other stuff. And that was probably the more encouraging part of the event, was the card game people. The people who either collect or play the card game seem to still be very engaged and love what they do, compared to the Pokemon Go, Pokemon Unite, the video game portion of it, which is really weird to me. But it was a good thing to see all sides of it, and to see the Pokemon Go players. I'll even say this. I find the video game side of it is much more selfish than the card game collector side. And what I mean by that is, while a content creator over there will do things to drive traffic, they are more likely to only concentrate on what they're doing, getting the hundo, getting the shiny, doing everything else, and not communicating with their audience. Where the card game people and card collectors or all about engaging with the audience and don't care so much about hitting a specific goal or agenda. Now, that being said, I think there's a reason for that. In order for you to have good content, you've got, like, if you're Fleece King, you've got to be the first one to catch the hundo and the first one to get a shiny, and you want to post that. And Fleece is a good guy. I mean, he's got his problems, he's got his ups, his downs, things like that. But that guy goes hardcore, and he makes comments to his fans, but he's got to hit that stuff. So he ignores everything else. People, whatever. It's engage, play, which is selfish in my opinion. If you got people watching you, and when he gets it, he doesn't slow down. And that's where the selfishness comes in. If you hit your target, then take a break and engage with your audience. Where the card collectors and the card players, it's cool, but they're not, it's not the end of the day if they don't find that, PS8 9 Charizard alt art at that show. They're engaging people, and they're talking about it, and they're showing their collection, and they want people to show their collection, and they want people to have those conversations. And the people playing the game, they want to tell you why they played that card and do that stuff. So they're more about the audience and the fans. They want to win, they want to play, but they're more engaged in the individuals than everything else. But most of them don't stream or do that sort of stuff, but the video game players do. So it was a really interesting dynamic to watch and try to learn and everything else. So, yeah, the bot to kill the spammers. I agree with that. I will try to do that this week. Yeah, thank you, buddy. I was supposed to work on all this stuff this last week, and Billy and I really thought we were going to have 3 or 4 hours a day to work on other things. And that just, dude, you rock. I will definitely do that. And I am happy to pay you for that. If you can really help me get some of this stuff done, I will pay for your next trip to the next Go Fest. That's how much I would be appreciative of your help. So no, that's an option. So that kind of segues into an apology. Billy and I had planned on playing the card game every single day going up there. You guys knew we got a problem with the Jeep. Yeah, Farm Don. Hey, Farm Don, dude, you're getting ready to get on a plane pretty soon, a couple days. I just sent you an email. Check your email with your hotel details, and I got a gift for you. So from Hawaii. So we had planned on playing all the way through, including the big game to shave our heads and everything else, and we never got off of work mode at all. And so we owe you guys a whole bunch of matches. I kid you not, one of the suitcases that I told you was like 80%, 25% of the suitcase was filled with all those card decks that I hauled over to Hawaii in order to play, and then we never got the matches. Plus, the internet at the hotels were really bad. Billy's uploads were taking somewhere along the lines of 6 to 8 hours to get things uploaded because everybody was on the internet. I mean, it was like, I think that these kind of events are horrible for things like Hawaii, where they already have like an OC3 for the entire island. And you're dividing it up amongst all those hotels. And now you've got high-end users trying to download all that data and upload all that data. It was shambles. It was very difficult to get anything done. So that all fell through. So we are going to, Billy and I are going to take a week after we get done with these 2 trips, and we have a bunch of engagements and things that we have to catch up on. And we will be jumping back in, finishing up those matches, including the shaved head match is still a go. And we have all those makeups to do. So we will do them. I mean, we bought everything for them. We just did not understand, A, how little time we were going to have, and B, how much extra stuff that we would be doing to kind of try to help out or to get the content and everything done in Hawaii. So best laid plans. I learned a lesson. I should know that lesson, plan for the worst and hope for the best. That would have been good. But I planned for the best and hoped for the best, and we didn't get the worst, but it was not exactly what we want. So apologies, we will get that done. I will be streaming every morning again, hopefully going forward. I fly out here in a couple of hours, and I'll be back in the car, taking the gear with me. We're going to get back into sync, try to get that stuff done. Billy and I have a bunch of plans that we were able to lay for doing an official Pokemon card show going forward, that we think is going to be pretty cool. And it's not because of anything else. We just really enjoyed the community. You know, as you know, Farm Don said, you know, these guys are next level. They're pretty cool. I bought, you know, we working, like I said, with Pokey Rich and everything else. And we met Chamander, who's a very well-known player trader, and he's got his own show and things like that. And I met him as well. We met some of the executives from PSA, and Billy's doing going to do a video series on PSA. We actually sent cards in to get graded. We bought a couple of cards, and then we actually bought a PSA 10. I think it was a PSA 10. Don't quote me on that, but I'm 90% sure it was a PSA 10. And it was a PSA 10. And it was done by a different company, which is the CGC, is one of the competitors, Certified Guaranteed Company, who does grading along with like PSA. And we did, I forgot what it's called, a swap or something like that. And PSA will, you send it in, send the company and the grade that they have on it, and they will crack your card and regrade it and tell you what they would grade it at. And now it could go down. What we did find out was PSA is the hardest of the graders, which is why they demand the most money. CGC is the middle. Beckett, I think it's Beckett, is like the other end of the spectrum. And none of these guys are like they give it away. But as far as the number of criteria they do for grading, it makes a big difference. And so PSA is the toughest. So we bought a CGC 10 to crack and see what PSA would grade it at themselves. So those have been sent off. We did pre-video. We interviewed the people from PSA. We each sent in a card for me. So I bought my first cards that were out there. And I have I'm a Psyduck fan, so I was able to buy this CGC 9 of Psyduck and Slowpoke. And I also had one in that it's the exact same card that was not graded yet and in a sleeve that we sent off, and we're going to have the CGC and PSA compare the two of the exact same card and see how they turn out. I'm still looking for my PSA 10, which I have a deal with Pokey Rich and Dom. They're going to go searching all over the world for my first PSA 10 Psyduck. But I did get my first PSA 10 Charizard out there. This isn't obviously one of the expensive ones. This is a VMAX. It's, a couple of $100 card, but I wanted to add that to my collection. I do have, I did get a couple of Psyducks. I got an 8.5. This is the one that I'm looking for. So the cool thing, this is a first edition, but graded at an 8.5. And I would like to get this in a 10. That's going to be $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 probably if they can find this one. Another one, Sabrina Psychic Trainer in a 9. Let me get that to now. First edition. And then the one I showed you, which is the VMAX. There's an alt art for this, which I have coming, which I already purchased at a 9. So I'll have this one and the alt art both at a 9. And then there's a limited edition Japanese series. If you guys collect the cards, there were the limited edition Japanese of Pikachu wearing the hoods of the different characters. Very collectible, very expensive. And there is there's one of Psyduck that is more like a Van Gogh painting doing his thing. And I was able to find one in a PSA 9 at the event, but they wanted like $1,500 for that. That one I definitely want in a 10. And again, that's probably going to cost a couple of $1,000. But these are my first cards. I'm going to start collecting. I'm going to try to get every one of the Psyducks. There's 15 Psyduck cards. And the cool thing is at the event, I was already on a plane, but a lot of people sent me the message. They're doing an elite pack with Psyduck on the box. And there'll be a Psyduck card in there that's collectible. And so if I buy tens or hundreds of boxes of anyone to get a special card, that will be the first one I go nuts in. I will be hunting that card once they release what that card is, hardcore, to get my first pull and graded 10. And so that will, I think it releases in the beginning of 2025 is what they were saying. And so that will be my goal. I'm going to, start filling a piggy bank with money and go crazy. I'm just kidding. I don't need to get a piggy bank, but I will spend the cash. I will keep collecting them and sending them in until I get a PSA 10 from that box set. So I think that's pretty cool. So anything else that I wanted to kind of go over? So got my first collector's cards. We got all the swag. Event was pretty good. Diet went amazing. I didn't lose any weight, but I didn't gain any weight. And we were able to eat healthy the entire time. And I think that's kind of it. I do appreciate, I ended up giving out hundreds and hundreds of gifts. That was my focus on playing the game. I did get the shiny Pikachu. I got the shiny of all the characters. So I got one shiny of each. Unfortunately, I didn't get multiple shinies. If anybody is got the frick, I can't even think what it's called. But anyway, the lucky trade with me. I do have 20 or 30 of the event Pikachus with the Hawaiian catch card on it. I'm holding all of those for people that not only wanted the Pikachu, but want to do a lucky trade for the catch cards, because the catch cards were pretty important. That's, when everybody found out, and it's a gorgeous background, Hawaiian background in the back with the catch card. And I know there's a lot of people that like the catch cards. So I'm going to save those to see if anybody wants those at the upcoming events. We're not going to Jakarta. We have a big event in, around that time frame that we already have to cover. So I think we're done for the year as far as Pokemon events, but we're going to be doing a lot of stuff on our own. Talk with a bunch of creators to try to have some things that were fun and interesting. Thanks, Farm Don. Yeah, I talked about it earlier. That's why I'm wearing the hat. The mom said that they might try to watch, but obviously this time right now, it's probably, what time is it? It's 7:48. So it's like midnight in Hawaii right now, or thereabouts. And so the mom said she probably wouldn't let her son stay up to watch, but she might watch the rebroadcast. So I wanted to put it on in case they did watch it, and I thanked them on air. Yeah, that was awesome. But that's the whole community thing, right? It's like that made the entire show. You do something nice for them, and then other people come back and do nice things for you. I never really thought of this as a selfish sort of environment. But you definitely kind of see it when people have an agenda, and you can't get mad, because if you fly all the way to Hawaii and you're trying to catch something specific, you want to go until you get that done. But then, dude, take a breath, or dudette, because a couple of them were female. Take a breath, enjoy being there, enjoy the community, communicate with people, share your joy. It's like, holy crap, I would have felt terrible if I had left Hawaii with that much angst and everything else and didn't get a chance, running either from catching to a party, and at the party you're kind of blah, and everybody's just bitching about, not catching or doing this or doing that. It's like, take a look around and enjoy the food, enjoy the people. By the way, people of Hawaii, I know none of you are watching, but if this ever got out there, so chill, so awesome. I didn't see an uptight person on that island. Good morning. An uptight person anywhere on there. Our Uber drivers were awesome. The people serving the food were awesome. The hotel people were awesome. The people walking down the street were awesome when that offer to help you. I mean, I don't know if they're all stoned or whatever, but they are so chill. I mean, I can see why people gravitate to that whole thing and why there's all this stereotype about the culture. Just like, dude, yeah, chill. It's completely like that. I mean, I felt more angst and negative energy from the people visiting than I felt from anybody, even at the airport. I'm so used to airport people being worked up and angsty because people are always, oh, change my seat. I need to do this. You missed my plane. And people being angsty. And every person there, it's like, it's okay. Mahalo. We'll help you. It'll be good. And it was just like, and the music is chill. It's like being sedated. It really is, in a good way. It was really hard to be negative. People accomplished it, but it was really hard to be negative for a long time with the people that were around you. Want to go back again and experience it from a vacation standpoint as opposed to a working standpoint. Also filled my decks, got the comfy. That was awesome. Was able to manage that. I got the local Anacario. I got multiple of those because I know there's a lot of people that don't have that Anacario. So, and I got multiple shinies of that too. So that was nice. So again, overall good trip. Glad to be back in the States. Not looking forward to 12-hour drive tonight, but we do what we do. And looking forward to getting back in this, and I'm really looking forward into getting into the game. I will tell you, I guess one more thing I thought was really cool. These little kids freaking move fast. I've got a lot of video. I did have a fun time. Again, for all the running around, all that other stuff at the end, and the people, like I said, if I were to judge some of these people, but overall, I think that it was a great experience for me doing things. And again, I think a lot of it was the TCG people. The TCG people are like legit. These people are such a great knowledge of the meta, all the stuff inside there. And if you guys know Bo, I think it's BOU, and if you guys know her on Twitter and Instagram, and I will, it is pricey, very pricey. I'm actually going to look it up because I'm going to ask a favor from you guys. So Bo is a commentator. There she is. She's at Frosted Caribou, FROSTED CARIBOU. And so I guess it would be Boo. BOU is how it's actually pronounced. Anyway, great lady. I've met her twice before briefly. She probably wouldn't remember me if I walked up to her. But anyway, I always comment about her, and I think she's very professional and everything else. But right before she left the United States to go over there, where she lives got hit by the storms, and she lost her house to flooding. The entire house is gone. And she commented on it when she landed because she got notification that the house is totaled and that she wasn't even sure what she was going to be going home to, where she was going to stay, all this other stuff. And this lady had so much class and handled everything so well. It didn't affect anything on the show. She was so good. And if you guys would just pop on, whether you want to follow her or not, anything like that, and just say good luck or prayers or whatever. This is what community is for, right? And I tried doing that on multiple times when I was on there because I've had major damage because of tornadoes here where I live. And it's costing hundreds of thousands of dollars to get my stuff done. And yes, I have insurance, but insurance doesn't cover everything. And we're living in inconvenience right now. Don't have a front porch, don't have a back porch. Half the tiles off my roof. I've got pipes busted. I'm missing my barns. It's just there's lots of stuff that I have to get repaired, and winter's coming, to quote Game of Thrones. And so, how am I going to handle all this in the winter? It's like I'm not going to be able to get all this done. I'm not going to have right now. I'm leaving, and I've got an excavation crew that's going to be digging up all the way around my house to get to the pipes, and hopefully they can get them fixed so I have sewage and water back in the house, and we can rebury it and put insulation and roof and deck right back around it before the first snow hits or the frost hits. I'm not going to get a barn done this year, so I've got to find an alternate way in order to handle the hay and the animals and things like that. So it sucks. It's life, and it's act of God. You just deal with it. But anyway, well wishes for her if you guys can. If anybody's the people that watch it after the show and the people watching that, just take a few seconds, pop onto Frosted Caribous on either Insta or Twitter and say, read about what happened to you and your family. Just prayers, hope everything works out, and then remove her if you don't want to follow her. But I think that's what the whole Pokemon community or any community should be for, is offering that support, even if it's someone you don't know. We are a big community, right? And try to do that kind of stuff. So that's my ask for today, if you guys don't mind. All right, that's it. I've got to shower, pack, and get to the airport. I will be live tomorrow morning from my drive, 7 a.m., which is 8 a.m. Eastern time. I should be somewhere, close to Tennessee when I pop online. Hopefully closer to Tennessee than further away. Depends on. I'll see how I do driving straight through the night. 12 hours after. I'll be up all day today, and then driving 12 hours through the night might be too much. I might have to stop and crash for a couple of hours, but we'll see. We'll see where I'm at. Join me. We'll talk on the road, and then kind of go from there. So thank you for tuning in. Looking forward to seeing you over the next couple of days on the next couple of shows. Farm Don, if I don't, I will be talking to you, but good luck in Colorado with the rest of the team. And cheers. We'll talk to you guys later.